Hello everyone, this I want to share with you is a follow-on from an open letter to a little TS sister called Mackenzie. And while I'm going to keep that private, I'm going to share this. It says, my TS story part 2 of a sort. My grandparents had gone through the war. My grandma hid under the stairs, aged 10, while the houses on her street in Liverpool were bombed. My grandfather was evacuated to Stafford in the north. Guess I was born into a family ready for anything. My grandparents have been married for 63 years, going through the smooth and rough, the happy and sad. I'm proud they've come through stronger. They married when my grandma was 19 and my granddad 23. My granddad has prostate cancer, chronic kidney disease and Parkinson's dementia. He has carers come in to help him 3 times a day and can no longer feed himself very well. My grandmother has had her share of health problems. She had a hysterectomy in her 40s, has had 3 hip replacements. During one operation, her leg collapsed and they had to put a steel plate in to hold it together. Since then, she's had massive problems with the wound constantly leaking. Anyways, the point to this, apart obviously from my love and admiration of my grandparents, despite being diagnosed with Turner syndrome at 2, I'm such a lucky girl. I have amazingly good health and feel great. I have found an amazing sisterhood, thanks sisters, and I'm loving my job working with little ones in the nursery. I think I can learn some amazing lessons from my parents and grandparents. My dad copes with epilepsy, and my mum copes with osteoarthritis. Visits to the hospital. My parents from the beginning would try to make a visit to hospital more like a fun day out. We would arrive in London and go somewhere nice for lunch. Usually we would go to Garfunkel's. One time we found a lovely Spanish restaurant near to Guy's Hospital where you could actually see the food being cooked. I also remember my dad taking me to an appointment on his own. Afterwards, we had apple pie and ice cream, sitting on an outside table in a cafe, watching the world go by. Very happy memories. My parents were awesome with me. One time, I was having an ultrasound to see if I had any ovaries and what kind of state they might be in. I had to drink a pint of water beforehand, so we had to ask a bemused waiter for a big glass of water. The nurse doing the ultrasound was pleased. 10 out of 10 for a full bladder. Lol, I was dying to go to the toilet though. My doctor was called Dr. Stimler, and he had quite a nervous tick. Talking about nervous, I would get so nervous waiting to be called for my appointment. My ears would feel hot. Sometimes it would get embarrassing, like the trainees looking at me as the doctor examined me for signs of breast development and so on. I found that pretty annoying. I was put on to a nutritionist in the early days as I was putting on too much weight. My doctor embarrassed me again as he examined me one visit and remarked, "Podgy, isn't she?" "Yeah, and you're rude, man." The ironic thing about being put on growth hormone for me was that I hated needles. My dad doesn't like them either, and screamed the place down at my first blood test at Guy's. When we went on holiday to Canada, we had to get in touch with the airline for a special dispensation to carry the growth hormone with us. The hardest thing for me definitely has been the infertility issues. I've always been maternal, so realising the implications was emotional. I remember at 3 or 4 seeing a smaller child at playgroup going to pick her up and being soundly told off by the mother. Those feelings have never left me. I still hope to marry someday, even though I find shyness crippling at times, especially where men are concerned. I hope to adopt or maybe even go through IVF if I'm not too old. I was mother hen to my 2 youngest brothers and enjoyed wheeling them in their pushchairs or taking them for a day out at the cinema, swimming or on a picnic at the local park. My brothers are very musical, look after me and are a real source of pride and an inspiration. To any who may just have been diagnosed or young ones who are just learning they have TS, don't be afraid to follow your dreams. Definitely wear your heart on your sleeve. Enjoy life. You are capable of things you never dreamed of. Dream big and don't be afraid to try. I was told in my last school report I was a daydreamer. That's so true. In primary school, we were asked to write a story. I came up with a story about a brother and sister who were given a chemistry set. Chaos ensues as they decide to give their nagging mum a taste of their potion, which they secretly put in her tea. She goes flying out the window and we haven't seen her since. Anyways, enough of my wittering on. I just want to end with this. Tears, fears, through the years. Rough, tough, sis, you are good enough. Worry, hurry, sure isn't funny. You are good enough. Not talented, not pretty, wouldn't survive in the city. You are good enough. Second guessing, not taking chances, stealing glances. You are good enough. On the outside looking in, of this I'm as guilty as sin. You are good enough. Now on the inside holding hands, weaving a picture with the strands. You are good enough. Thanks for being my wonderful sisters, and to mums and grandmas, nans, etc. of TS Sisters. You are all amazing. Love you all.